Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk About It. My name is Sage Breed. Y'all, today, as you can see, we have a wonderful guest. She is my lovely wife, my sweet wife, Shelby Ray. Woo! Let's welcome her. Let's welcome her. Man, I'm excited. Y'all, if you've been following along with us for the past couple days, past couple weeks, we have been talking about our 5 pillars: spiritual, mental, physical, social, and financial. This week, we are on physical, putting all our attention on discipline because we know that discipline is vision applied. Y'all, I just want to thank you so much for you investing in yourself, sitting down, having a conversation with us, because there's a lot of things you could be doing. Realistically, it's a beautiful day right now. You could be going on a walk, you could be on the game, you could be watching a movie, you could be having a conversation with someone else, and yet you chose to be here. And for that, we're grateful. So we're gonna jump in. I was sitting down and I was doing some editing and I was just praying and I was like, God, what are we doing? Like just what are we doing? And I believe God was like, Sage, right now we're doing whatever you want. And he hit me with what we talked about on Monday. Growth track, we were discussing lock in. Lock in. And we know that locking in simply means focus on what you're doing. Don't be distracted. Don't be distracted from the vision that you have laid out in front of you. And oftentimes this can be something that's difficult because what we realize is there's a lot of different things that are vying for our attention. There's a lot of different things that are saying, focus on me, look at me, pick me, choose me, blah, 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 right? We discussed that there's 3 things that we need to do to lock in. We talked about see. You got to see what it is you're doing because vision is the ability to see beyond. We must decide within ourselves, I'm actually going to do this. See what you're going to do. Decide this is what I'm going to do. And finally, ain't nothing to it but to do it. You just have to do it. We discussed that a nice strategy that has really helped me is setting a timer for 30 to 45 minutes and have a secondary timer for about 5 to 10 minutes. When that first one goes off, that one's just all about grinding. It's all about working. It's all about focusing your attention on that one task. When that alarm hits, turn on that second one. Hit that second timer. And that one is just flat out rest. No work. No thinking about work. Do something completely different to allow your mind to recharge and to rest. That's what it means to lock in. Do it until it's done. Do it until it's done. Anything that's on your mind that you want to share about that?
Just that I think that it's so interesting how God brings you through what we're talking about before.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're still in it, really, but I mean, it never goes away. Discipline never, ever goes away. And so I think it's been really difficult and challenging, but also fruitful to see what has come out of us applying like these different things that you're talking about in our lives, just the day to day.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Second, that we talked about on vision board was motivation versus discipline. We discussed, motivation feels good. It gets the blood pumping. It gets the dopamine hitting, right? However, motivation is just the fire starter. Discipline is understanding and doing as well as working out the process of how do I get this wood for my fire? First, you have to find a tree. There's certain trees that are used for firewood. You get what I'm saying? You got to find the tree, cut the tree, dry the tree, burn the tree. There's a lot of different things that go into that process, but the fire's not important unless we first understand What is the purpose of this fire? What is the reason why we're doing what we're doing? One of the best ways to ensure that you will continue to grow, that you will continue to hunker down, continue to make the hard decision when we don't want to make that decision, is when we understand that the fire that I'm keeping burning is actually not just for my comfort, but it's for those around me. You remember we talked about, man, if I have a fireplace in my house, I'm not necessarily concerned about keeping that fire going. However, if I'm outside and it's cold and it's snowing and I'm out camping, I'm going to be more concerned about keeping that fire lit. I'm going to be more mindful of what really goes into the process of what kind of wood I'm burning, because I don't want to keep doing busy man tasks. I want to choose something that will sustain me. We had a formula for success. Okay, so if you're taking notes, go ahead and write this down again. Put it somewhere where you can see it, because if you apply this, this is going to elevate your mindset. This is going to elevate your life. Okay, you ready? You have Y plus P equals S. Your Y plus a plan equals success. And we walked through the story of when I got kicked off the track team. And I had to make a decision within myself. Is this really what I want to do? And I decided, yes, I want to come back and I want to win a championship. So I linked up with my friend Stevie, and we were blasting the workouts like there was no tomorrow. And our coach was just like, that's done. That's done. What's your guys' plan? Had no plan. So he gave us a plan. So we had a Y plus our coach's plan. Next season, we won conference. And because I understood that, I was able to take that to my next journey. And I was able to help coach one of our athletes to win the national championship. And now he's coaching other athletes. So when you separate yourself from motivation and you step into discipline, and now we're talking legacy. It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing. Anything that comes to your mind about that, my love? All right, let's keep it moving. Wednesday, we were on Back to the Book, and we were discussing the power of discipline. And what we were able to see when we were walking through the Bible chapter by chapter is that, man, the decision that Abraham made in Genesis chapter 12, when God said, leave your family behind, and he chose not to, his lack of discipline caught up with him in the present. However, what we were able to see is that his current discipline protected him and those around him. Because there was a war that broke out between 5 different kings, and his nephew was caught up in the battle, the nephew that wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. Well, one of his nephew's servants escaped and said, Abram, like, we need some help, bro. Like, come help us. 3 kings came and attacked us, and Abraham said, okay, well, let me gather my 318 men, and we're going to put the hurt on them. And you know what happened? They put the hurt on them. The 318 men against not just 1, not 2, Shelby, but 3 different kings. They got whooped, and Abraham had no casualties. They were able to take back all the goods, get Lot, his family, and everyone else that was involved. Now, do we have that kind of discipline? Because that servant said, whoa, okay, because I've been around Abraham and his family, I know how they operate. So even though he may only have 318 people, now I saw the drills that they were doing. I saw the conversations they had. I saw the life of integrity that Abraham was living. And this is what we were able to really extrapolate out of that story. We learned 3 things. We learned that discipline brings confidence. Not just for Abraham, but for Abraham's household. Because when Abraham told, y'all, we're getting ready to go fight against 3 kings. They said, okay, sounds good to me. It brought confidence in Lot and his family. Discipline brings power. Because they were disciplined and they were practicing the same thing They were locking in. They were really focused. They weren't just hyping each other up, but they remained disciplined to the vision. They got stronger. When you're disciplined, you can't help but get stronger. It's the only option. Discipline brings confidence, brings power, and ultimately, discipline brings trust. Do you have that level of integrity that, based on how you are living your life, people are walking up to you asking for advice, saying, wow, I'm really seeing what's going on here. I need your help. And can you deliver on that promise? Thursday on Lifeline, we were talking about shaped for adversity. And we were looking at Jeremiah 18, verse 4, the potter and the clay, and how the potter had a piece of clay on the wheel, and because it was perverted, he had to smash it down and reshape it. We really began to understand that the process of discipline is to prepare you for the struggles of life, and not just for the sake of struggling, because struggling just to struggle is no fun. That's no good. And God wouldn't do that to us, and he doesn't do that to us. What we saw and what we understood is that God shapes us for adversity and to be able to handle the struggles of life so we can enjoy its rewards. Abraham didn't just go through all that pain and suffering for nothing. He was able to save his nephew. His nephew was able to be blessed. And now, 3 major religions are all stemmed from Abraham. You didn't go through that pain just for no reason. One of my mentors, he says this. He goes, man, you went through all that pain. You might as well get paid for it. That's what Jeremy says. He goes, you went through all that pain. You might as well get paid for it. So y'all, let's really lock in on what we're doing. Let's shift from motivation into discipline. Let's begin to understand, okay, there's power in my discipline, and it's shaping me to be able to handle not just the adversity, but the blessing. So something I was curious about, this is really for you, my love. Something I was curious about is the other day we were hitting the gym, right? And we were doing squats. I'm not gonna put you on blast, so don't worry. But last time we did squats, it was a struggle. Mm-hmm. This time, she was hitting squats, and she said, let me go low, right? And she went low. She hit a sticking point, right? You hit a sticking point, and then you finished it out. I remember the last time I was curious as to what was going to transpire next, because the previous time, you didn't go back in for another set. You were actually done. This time, we increased the weight, and you did it. So that's a progress pick right there. What was going through your mind when you made that mental switch? Just kidding.
What was going through my mind? I think since the last time we did squats in the gym, it's been quite a while. It's been like a few months, like since we did it together. And I think I've just gone through a lot between then and now, and just I've seen myself give up on myself, and even just mentally being like, well, I just can't do it, or like I just can't lift that, or I just can't finish this, or this is just too challenging. And something that, we've talked about a little bit, Sage and I, is just that your brain only lets you go to a certain percentage before it's like, okay, well, you can't go any further. And it's not 100%. It's not even really close to 100%. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, okay, well, my brain won't let me push that 100%, but Sage is here to help me with that other percent that my brain doesn't let me do. And so I was like thinking two things. I was like, I want to show myself that I can do it, and I want to show you that I can do it, because I was like, at past times I've not reacted well when I can't lift certain weights. I tend to kind of give up, be like, all right, I'm done working out. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I did not want to do that this time because I'm trying to reframe how I think about failure. Because failure, really, like we always say, is when you just give up.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's like if I do my best to lift the weight and I can't lift it, that's not failure. That's just an area of growth. And I get to ask myself, okay, well, how can I grow past this? Or why am I here if I was able to lift this before, but I'm not able to lift it now? Which I know, like, for men and women, I'm sure it's different, but for women, during different times of the month, you're actually weaker than normal. And certain times you're much stronger than normal and you physically can lift more. And so even just that, translating that into real life, I wanted to be trustworthy. Just thinking about that story about Abraham and Lot, I was like, I want you to be able to trust me, that we can work out without me being like, okay, well, I don't want to work out anymore because I can't squat this or whatever. And I think just too, like, telling myself like it's okay to be at a weak point, because technically for you, you'll always at that moment probably be the weakest you've ever been, which granted you can go backwards and become physically weak again, but it's like in that moment it's like, man, like this is where I'm at right now and this is the weakest I am right now, and I can always move past that. So yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Wow, that's a mental shift. I'm proud of you. That was pretty good. Yesterday was not necessarily a day that I was ecstatic to go work out. It was freezing outside, and it's freezing now.
It's cold.
It's being chilling. Something that was just on my mind, because we record these episodes pretty far in advance, and I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and even just a discussion I had with Shelby the other day, where for a moment I was like, dude, I'm behind, right? Like this, I need to get something out. But then I was like, oh wait, I already did it. Oh, I'm good. Because there was a shift, because I didn't always used to be disciplined. I really didn't. And I'm not going to give a whole life story. I'll just stick to one thing. But there was a time when, I was growing up, back when I was in my skater era, if you will. I was a skater boy. See you later, boy. And my friends and I, we'd hit the skate park like all the time. Like my friend's mom would drop Israel and I off. My mom would drop Israel and I off. And when I told we were at the skate park, babe, we were there from the moment it opened, like 8 a.m. to when they closed.
I didn't know skate parks opened and closed. I thought they were just open.
Well, so the one that we really liked, rest in peace, was Eisenberg in Richardson. Y'all, if you know Eisenberg, give some love in the comments, bro. It is crazy. Eisenberg was man, it was a skater's paradise. It just wasn't enough skateboarders in the area to keep it up. It was an indoor skate park.
Oh, that sucks. I see, this indoor.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so it was just, man, freaking rocked. I remember I was learning how to skate on this handrail. And you go down a ramp, up another ramp, down a ramp, flat, up a ramp, handrail. And this handrail is not short. It was like 10 feet. And, well, really, it was actually a lot longer than 10 feet. But you're on it for about 10 feet. The rail itself is about 20. And I'm looking at this thing, and I was telling Israel one day, I said, man, I really want to skate that. And he was like, okay. And I'm like, I'm scared, bro. He was like, yeah, me too. You want to go outside and skate on the other side? We're like, yeah. And so we just completely left that goal. But one day they had a skateboard competition. And so we were there and we were watching the competition. I'm watching all these people my age and younger completely destroy this rail. Like they were doing crazy tricks on it. And I looked over at Israel and I was like, bro, I want to skate that rail. And he was like, okay. you want to try it after the competition's done? It's like, yeah, like I really do. And I just remember looking at that rail and I would imagine how amazing I would feel, how accomplished I would feel. And so we're hyping each other up, and there's a group of guys that are on the back of the other end of the skate park. And I'm looking at this rail and it looks like a tiny little thing. And I was like, I could do it. I can do it. I'm putting on my headphones and I'm listening to Cracks by Flux Pavilion. I'm waiting for the drop, and it's like, and the cracks begin to show, because it's dubstep. We were really into dubstep back then. And when that thing hit, I drop in and I'm charging it full speed ahead. And I get to the rail, and all of a sudden, that 20 foot turns into 80 foot, and I get terrified. And I just go off to the side. And I felt so crushed. I just look back at that rail. And I look back at my friends, and they're all yelling, like, come on, come on. I go, okay. Hit restart on my song, go back to the other end, and the cracks begin to show. Right? And I go down there on full speed ahead, and this time that 20 foot looks 60 foot. And I just jump off my skate. I don't even do an ollie pop on it. I just jump. I was like, whoa. That freaked me out. Now I'm feeling more confident. I'm feeling amped up. Okay. Restart. And the cracks begin. Right? And blah. And I'm charging at this rail. And this time I ollie, but I don't ollie towards it. I just ollie to get the height. And everyone's still screaming, still yelling, and going crazy. And this process goes on for 3 weeks. I didn't get it that day. It goes on for quite some time. And so I asked one of the guys that I had saw that was just skating, I said, dude, how are you doing this? And he goes, well, I just think about the rail. And then I walk up to the rail with my board, and I imagine popping onto it and locking in and how I'm going to exit off. I said, whoa. Okay. So I go back over to Israel and I said, bro, I'm gonna hit that rail today. And he was like, heck yeah. Daps me up, full speed at this rail. Just lock in. I have my song in. All of a sudden it gets quiet. I don't hear the music. I don't feel my board. I'm just there. And I'm hitting this ramp. I'm going up and I feel the wind. Flat. Go back down, picking up speed. And I've since learned to adjust, make some different moves. And I'm looking at this rail and I go, okay, I'm going to do it. And I ollie onto it. And I land it. And I'm locking on. I'm in my board slide. And I go, okay, it's time. And I shift my body and I roll away. And when I tell you, we were going crazy. It felt like we won the competition that didn't exist, but we were just like, ah, right? And everyone's going down the ramp, and it's just, man, I just love the skateboard culture. It was just like, we're like, dude, the excitement. It completely demolished and annihilated that sense of crushing that I felt the first time I ran away. Mm. But it was because I practiced in on what I was doing. I practiced and I focused on, I'm going to get this trick. And that's all I did at the skate park. Like, I would go do my warm-ups and a couple of confidence tricks, but I was only on that rail for like 2.5, 3 weeks. So motivation was fine and amped me up, but it was the act of repeat, the act of continuously doing something and tweaking a bit and going back and trying it again. Is just as you were saying during the gym. Prove it. Prove to myself, prove to those around me, I'm capable. I can do it. Y'all, because something that I had really learned was that one of the reasons why I'm not living the life that I want to live is because I have allowed myself to be abused by instant gratification. I've allowed myself to be taken advantage of by a lack of discipline. And this is why we come on and we share these stories. And my wonderful wife, she just sits down and she shares the thoughts and the things that she's been going through and learning. And we sit down and we have conversations, and we're working on our 5 pillars: the spiritual, mental, physical, social, financial aspects. And we're saying, okay, well, what kind of life do I want to live? Because if we don't have that answer, we can't be disciplined. If I don't know what kind of person I want to be, how I want my family to be loved, if I don't understand what I want my business to look at, if I don't have an idea of how I want my friends to perceive me, how I want to love them, I'm not going to make decisions based on the outcome. I'm just making decisions. Abraham trained his household specifically to protect, because they were a caravan. They had people raiding them all the time. He was wealthy. So we have to find that reason within ourselves. Why am I doing this? What is really the reason that I'm waking up in the morning to do my devos? What is the reason that I'm waking up in the morning to go work out? What is the reason that I'm sitting down and I'm learning finance, that I'm learning how to speak, that I'm learning how to be a husband? And what am I doing this for? Because without a vision, I cannot be disciplined. Without a vision, we can't be disciplined. And Shelby, I just want to highlight, the growth that I've seen in you. I tell you in private, and I also want to give you your flowers in public, where it's just like I've seen how you have locked in different areas of your life. And you're just like, okay, just do it. Just do it. When before I would watch you and you would ride away from that rail. And you would come back so defeated and so crushed. But watching you make these tiny adjustments and you just focusing on, okay, well then I'm just going to do this. 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 And sharpening and asking advice from not just me, but from some friends and some from different mentors. And it's like, okay, I understand it now, right? And now you hit the trick. Now you're hitting your devos. Now you're praying and doing Bible word studies. Now you're going back to the gym. Now you're working out. Now you're taking better care of your health. Now you're really focusing on your mental. And you're saying, okay, let me look at these 5 pillars, and you're hitting them. So it's just, as your friend, as your husband, as your partner, I'm humbled to be able to be a part of it and just to see what you're doing in your life. I'm honored to hear the dreams and the aspirations and the vision that you have. Like you're getting ready to hop on a call here in a little bit to ask questions and inquire about a dream that's important to you. A lot of people don't take that step. And so it's just like, man, praise God.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. My main. Shout out to my main.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you, my love.
The tears are tearing.
What's up, dog?
Thanks.
Callie came to tell you that she's proud of you too.
Thank you.
Y'all, take these moments, because we're really not just here for no reason. Take these moments and really ask yourself, what is it that I want? Because if you don't know what you want, someone who knows what they want is going to make you do what they want. Build. We understand the foundation now. We're implementing our pillars. We have the blueprints. Now all that's left is to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, you're strong. You're smart. We love you. And until next time, peace.
Waited here, the leaves have changed their color.